Hello friends, and thank you for joining me for another short talk. Friends, one thing you may have noticed by watching any of my videos is that I don't blacklist anyone. If I disagree with anyone, sure, I'll challenge what they teach and even offer to discuss our differences publicly, but I would never tell anyone to stop listening to them. Heck, you may even learn what not to do by listening to them. But friends, today I'm going to break this trend of mine by saying that Yaron Reuven is not only the most outspoken ignoramus in the rabbinic Jewish world, he is worst of all a bully. Heck, the two most used words in his vocabulary are heretic and gehinom. Now, some would say that he just learned this from his teacher, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, but no, friends, this individual is much, much worse. So, being that both of these individuals parade a list of 14 rabbis that they blacklist, consider Yaron Reuven first on my list. And because of the work that I do online, teaching a more rationally based Torah approach to Judaism, I hear from at least 3 people a week who have gone OTD that they were once students of Rabbi Yaron Reuven, and that his teachings actually caused them to drop Judaism completely. Only being able to dish out a gloom and doom, fire and brimstone perspective on Torah and worse, making the stupid claim that only the handful of rabbis in their organization are kosher to listen to. Please let me try to educate you on how Judaism actually functions and give you some tips on playing nice with others. Look, as long as you're not teaching against Torah and halacha, you should be tolerated as a valid Torah outlet. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to like or endorse everything I or someone else teaches, but you have to tolerate it. And this also doesn't mean that now you're going to include every metaphysical and hashkafic idea that you happen to agree with as part of Torah. As a matter of fact, look for yourselves why they have chosen to throw the 14 rabbis that appear on their silly list under the bus, publicly. And you will notice that it's only done because they differ from these rabbis on hashkafic, i.e. philosophical issues, that now they have the audacity to make the claim behind the title rabbi that anyone who listens or learns from these individuals are on some highway to Gehinnom, which really makes me think that these individuals have never really heard of the notion of Chidushim to begin with, or then they wouldn't make such stupid claims. Now, also, have these guys ever opened the Gemara? Why do I ask? Friends, because there are disagreements on every page, not just on hashkafic issues, but even halachic ones. And we don't see them making a huge public Hilul Hashem, calling each other's min, apikoros, or kofar. As a matter of fact, one reason that people aren't so quick to use such terms, especially against a fellow Torah-keeping Jew, is because we are aware of the consequences tied to those labels. The simple fact that if these individuals were adjudicated under such labels, they would possibly be liable to death penalty, which would also, if we had a Sanhedrin, make them liable of what they accused someone else of. But I guess that only hosting monologues on YouTube and refusing to debate publicly those you insult and ridicule means never having to say you're sorry. Actually, the latest of these attacks was on Ben Shapiro, who again got thrown under the bus for his opinions, not on Torah or halachic issues, but again, on purely non-Torah metaphysical issues. Now, to be fully accurate, they attack him because hashkafically he didn't align fully on the Rambam's 13 principles. However, has any one of these clowns ever analyzed what they teach, which happens to also be against the Rambam? Notions like Sefirot, Tzimtzum, Gilgulim, and anthropomorphic understandings of God, believing in Shadem, or even how they view Mashiach, which actually goes against how the Rambam views Mashiach. As a matter of fact, one example on how Yaron Reuven doesn't even know what the Rambam teaches regarding Mashiach is how he insults Ben Shapiro for saying that the Messiah for him, the one he's waiting for, is only a political leader, which is virtually what the Rambam says of his rendition of Mashiach and Geulah. And I also guess they fail to realize that the Rambam is just a Rishon, not a Tana. Not that they know the difference, because if they did, they would realize that anything the Rambam brings down regarding non-halachic issues are only his opinion, and also fail to realize that the Rambam's 13 principles were not the only principles of faith put out by rabbis. So I guess he considers the Radbaz and Rav Yosef Alba also heretics because they disagreed on the Rambam's 13 principles. Why? Because they have their own principles. Look, these boys are amateurs, and if you want to grow in your Judaism, it behooves you to find new teachers. The problem is that Yaron and his cohorts are the result of the art scroll culture. They have their Judaism pre-chewed for them and only present that form of Judaism bundled in with their Sephardi stubbornness as the only kosher outlet for Torah on the web. Look, Yaron Reuven is an embarrassment to everything Jewish, and I only fear that he will realize this when it's too late. So if you hold anything I say in high regard, I implore you to stay away, not just from Yaron Reuven, but from any other bully like him on the internet. Thank you.